question says, in the sketch below, the graph of f of x is equals to 3 to the power of x is given, which is this. Now the graph of g is the reflection of f in the line y is equals to x. Now what this means is that this is the inverse of this f graph. Whenever you have this statement, it actually just means the inverse. The first question asks us to determine the equation of g. So like I said, it is the inverse. That is what you need to put at the back of your mind while answering this. So I'm saying the original graph is y is equals to 3 to the x, and since it's the inverse, it is going to be x is equals to 3 to the y, and therefore we can now say that g of x is equals to the log of 3 to the x over there, and that will be your answer. Now question 2 here says, determine with the aid of the sketches given above the values for x for which 3 to the power x is greater than 0 and log 3 to the x is less than 0. Now what this actually means is that they are asking you that the f of x is greater than 0. That's what that means. And this here is actually saying the g of x is less or equals to 0. And don't forget that this also represents y. So the y of this is greater than 0, and also this also represents y. The y of this is less than 0, right? So let's start with them individually. Now to answer this question, we need to focus on the x-axis line, right? So this line here is your x-axis. And on the x-axis line, we understand that y is equals to 0. Now anything above it, y is greater than 0, and anything below it, y is less than 0. Okay, so now for our f graph, we can clearly see that every value of x would be above the y is equals to 0 line, which is our x-axis line. So our simple answer for this is just going to be x is an element of real numbers. We could also write it like this: x is from negative infinity to positive infinity. It represents all the values. Okay. For the second one, which is a g, now we understand that y is equals to 0, x is 1 in this part here, right? So anything below it, because we want less than 0, right? Yes, less than 0, less or equals to 0. Okay, so part of the first part of our answer is definitely x is equals to 1. Now the second part of our answer is all the x value below this line, right? Below this. So as you can see, it starts from 1, which is here, and it keeps going until this line over here, and this line x is equals to 0. So how we represent that in the question would be x is definitely less or equals to 1, but it has to be greater than 0, right? Because you don't have any value less than 0, and that's it.